Well, hello again. In this session, I want to talk about it's a cultural change within an organisation. And you will have heard it so many times before. This will never happen. Now, if you're in an organisation that is willing to put its head in the sand and say, this will never happen, then you can guarantee that those things are going to happen. So, how do we change that mindset? Well, there is one fundamental way of doing that. Rather than saying, this will never happen, ask the question, what happens if? And if you have that fundamental change in mindset, that is going to open up many more possibilities in terms of events. Now, let's take an example of the Gulf oil spill. I am sure there are people there who would have said that the fire and the collapse of the oil rig and the release of all the oil into the Gulf would never happen. But it did. I'm sure there was people who would say the Longford gas explosion would never happen, but it did. I'm sure there's those people who have said that the whole of the northeast of the USA could never be blacked out, but it happened. So these events do occur, and you see them in the news all of the time. And when we look at it, we ask the question, well, how many of those things were in our control, as I've talked about before? How many of those things were outside of our control? And if we can deal with the things that are inside of our control to reduce our vulnerabilities to those threats, and then at the same time trying to reduce the consequences, then we can be prepared for anything that happens. So let's not focus on the things that can't happen and think about the things and the possibility of those events that will occur or may occur in the future, no matter how out there. Of course, we don't want to be silly about it. We don't want to be saying meteor will come shower and takes out our facility or something like that. They need to be plausible. But think outside the box, because if you think that it will never happen, you can almost guarantee that something like that will. So change that mindset. What happens if? That's all for this session. As always, let's be careful out there.